All right. Congratulations, Javier, passing the CAPM
Mhm.
exam. How does it
Thank
feel?
you. Feels good. Feels like I've accomplished a lot. These
Yeah, very well done. I think, you had a heck of a journey, starting from all the studies, going through all the learning material. That was
Mhm.
some bumpy road on the way as well, so which we talked about, which was preventing you to studying regularly for a couple of weeks. But after that, you
Yeah.
pulled it off. So huge congratulations. I was
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
proud of, your progress you've been made. And yeah, how does it feel now? You have so much time now available.
Now I have my afternoons back.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
I don't
exactly.
have to, yeah. I know I was sneaking in tests here and there at work when I would have some downtime. Obviously, it's hard to avoid distractions while you're at work
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you're at work. So I would sneak in. Ricardo helped me out with letting me know if I can do that. He recommended doing like 20 questions
Hmm.
in a short period of time. So I would do 20 questions and then stop,
Okay.
and so it really that helped. Um, and then your advice to doing 50 questions here, 50 questions there,
Yeah.
60 questions, and just so what helped me was starting short, and then when I
Hmm.
would reach 80%, an average of 80%, then I would jump to more questions and more
Yeah,
questions until I felt comfortable.
that's good. That's good. And how did you do timing wise on the exam? So you finished earlier or just on time? You used all the time? Did you took
I
the breaks?
finished with 2 minutes left in the exam.
That's fine. That's fine.
With 2 minutes left. I also, in the 10-minute break, it threw me off a little bit because you have to, the TA has to sign you back in.
Yep.
So when the timer was done, it was eating away at my clock. And I had to raise my hand and then they come
Mhm.
in and then they sign in. So it was a minute. It wasn't too much, but
Uh-huh.
it shaved off a minute from my test time. But
Oh yeah, and then that time sounded very precious, but now yeah, it was just 1 minute, but that's okay.
yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now you're looking back, what made you join this program? This the one-on-one, the 8 weeks kind of preparation for the CAPM over the other programs.
Um, my main reason was my charter here for California.
Okay.
So she recommended you. She recommended some courses.
Yeah.
I said okay. I looked into you. I asked my supervisor if it was okay. They said okay. So it was pretty easy, cut and dry.
Mhm. That's amazing. Thank you for that altogether. Now, looking back on the experience, on the weekly one-on-ones and all the clarifications, and sometimes those harsh reality checks that
Mhm.
if you continue this way, it's going to be challenging to answering questions. But it seems like it's all went into the favor that you passed the exam. But if you can share some more light on that, I think that would be that maybe I think that would be great or useful for the others who actually maybe just wanted to start the CAPM journey.
Yeah, so just dedicate your time. It really has to do with both studying the definitions of everything.
Hmm.
It's hard to retain so much information, but sometimes keywords help you out. Your flashcards helped out a lot. Both courses between your course and then the course you recommended, which was
Yeah.
I can't remember his name,
That
but
was
both of
Jordan
them.
Phillips' course, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Those are perfect. Actually, the what also helped me a lot was that practice, the one you had recommended
Yep.
last, because those I realized when I took the test, those are very close to
Hmm.
the questions and answers that they do ask you on the
Mm.
CAPM exam. So
Now
those are
that's good to hear.
they're very close. A lot of there are a lot of questions, maybe a good 40% that are very particular to a question,
Okay.
and then there's a lot where the answer is obvious. So,
Oh, okay.
it's I think it gives you confidence when you're in the test and then you read a question, and you get two or three that are, pretty simple, and then
Hmm.
you answer it, you get the confidence and you go, okay, I'm doing good, I'm doing good, these answers are good. And then
Okay.
it hits
Okay.
you with those tough questions, but just reread the question over and over again until you feel like you have like you mentioned in a lot of our sessions, look for those keywords, those key terminologies that might identify which answer is the
Hmm.
obvious one. because I did look back on some of those, and then you would look at a key question, and then in some of the sessions where we had talked, where you mentioned, hey, this is why this is the obvious answer, is
Yeah.
because if you look at the question, this key word makes the other answers
Mhm.
obsolete. So it really did help.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear. And also, remembering that, I mentioned to you that on the exam, you're going to read questions 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, and even just being aware of that, because I think on some extent, the challenge with the exam is that how you handle the stress, how you handle the situation, because you
Yeah,
cannot pause, you cannot, I'm going to come back, I'm doing it one
yeah.
more time or leaving and come back. So I think that's amazing. And I think you did a good job on all that. Now, maybe one more question, and I think after
Yeah.
that I will let you go. Is that so? How was your, like your normal study day were looking like, let's say, maybe a month ago, and then how was it looking like, let's say, last week Friday?
A month ago, I was doing exactly how you were mentioning it. Just 1 or 2 hours a day. It would be, I would usually take up half an hour of my lunch, and then I would, kind of bleed it in. I would do it in my office, both of them. So I would work on it, and then I'd get home, and I would do another hour where I'd
Hmm.
either be, depending on what you recommended, which was either listening and
Hmm.
reviewing what I had to, or doing test work.
Hmm.
Um, the last month was just cramming everything in. So I was just at any given moment in time, I was taking tests, taking tests, taking tests, kind of familiarizing myself with questions and answers. And then the last 2 days, I was more so just reading up on everything, on all the definitions.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going back through the PIM book, all the normal stuff that
Mhm.
way, because a lot of the questions reflect, how can I say it? There's a lot of terminologies that if you don't read up on, it shows up on those tests. So there was
Yeah, I
a few
see. I see.
that threw me off, that I'm like, oh, I
And
don't know if I was 100% on that one.
and looking back, there were a lot of situational questions, or they are still majority of them will be based on definitions.
Yeah, there's a lot of situational, and then there's a lot where if you don't know the definition, because they clearly outline the definition even in the answer, but it's
Okay.
very like it's kind of in the middle of both situational and um, definition, but
Okay.
it's a very thin line of this definition can this question can this answer can fit to this question, but that key word that you might pick out will change what your answer is going to be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then
So
there
yeah,
was a
I
lot
mean,
of pick three, pick three answers. There was that one, those were the ones that I did notice a lot of. I didn't see any graph answers. I did see a comic book style question. Um
comic
it
books are, which is, they are related to drag and drop questions in the end.
yeah,
But
yeah, it was
hey,
it
go ahead,
was
sorry.
it was yeah, it was just like a B, C, or D answer,
Mhm.
but the reading, it had like a little article, like a
Yep.
animation, and
Hmm.
then you'd have to read it. I was kind of frustrated because it was one of the last questions, and I had
Wow.
2 minutes left, and I'm like, I have to read all this, and then the timer's ticking, so it got me a little nerve-wracked at the end. But just remember to, even if you see the timer going, you have enough time to answer every question. Keep yourself doing well. The first 75 questions you have to answer in the first time frame.
Mhm.
Once you take that break, it doesn't let you go back to the 75
Yeah.
answers of the
Yeah.
questions. So you
You
have
have
to
to
answer those
finalize
in that
it.
time
Yeah.
frame. Yeah, and then the same with the second ones. You have an opportunity to go back and review. You have an opportunity to flag them if you want to flag them. I flagged a few. I did in the second portion. I left a few that weren't answered. I think it was three.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure, so I left enough time to go back and answer those really quick.
Nice.
But by the time I went back, I had an understanding of what I thought was the answer. I don't know if they were correct because we don't know,
Mhm.
but I feel like I did pretty good on those.
Well, in the end, I think that's what really matters, that you go and pass the exam. I
Yeah.
think that's an amazing achievement, and that would really definitely boost your career. Now, this
Hmm.
is, you are on the path and the trajectory of, become a great, project manager. I mean, you are the project
First step.
manager, but, getting your PMP, getting another year, another two, and after that, going into, project or program or portfolio management. So I
Hmm.
think that's a great, you're showing your commitment to the
Yeah.
career path.
It's my
technically, I
first
will see
step.
you again in 2 years to get the PMP done.
I will definitely be here in 2 years.
Yeah, that's amazing, amazing. So again, huge congratulations. I hope you had a big party as well to celebrating all the hard work which went into this, and yeah, thank you for the feedback as well. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank Ricardo for everything. You guys were amazing. It helped a lot. If anybody listens to this, pay attention to Gabriel because he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. And also, yeah, give credit to Ricardo because he was also doing some of the one-on-one sessions. Ricardo,
Yeah,
part of the team. Through LinkedIn, people can also find Ricardo
yeah,
for this
and the
particular.
in-person, yeah, and the in-person mock test where you guys, help uh explain the answers and explain the questions. Those were
Mhm.
extremely helpful too, because when you get to the actual test, it's a thin line where you can answer right or answer wrong, but if you get to the final, at least the final two answers
Yep.
per question, then you're doing good.
But that requires the practice. So going back, yeah, get your learning done, but after that is mainly focusing on the questions because you have to
Yeah.
answer questions correctly.
That's the name of the game, right?
Absolutely. So amazing. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Javier. It was, again, huge milestone,
Mhm.
major success story in that sense. So yeah, thank you very much. And let's meet
Thank you. Thank you.
in a few years to get the PMP done. All
That
right.
sounds perfect. I'll be
All
I'll be
right.
ready.
Thank you.